Hi everybody, I want to make one last video at the end of class here, and I'll try to make this short and sweet. I'm sure you guys are tired, looking forward to a break. Me too, but I've sure enjoyed this class, and although I've read all these readings that I required you guys to read, it's been wonderful to go back and reread them and also to see them through your minds as you guys are processing them, chewing on them, and yeah, I want to encourage you guys a couple things. There's a wonderful quote here at the end of Churchill and Orwell by Ricks. And Ricks has just got done talking about Milan Kundera. This is on page 268, 269, if you guys want to look later. But his classic book, The Book of Laughter and Forgetting, about spring of 48 when the Soviets brought communism to Czechoslovakia, and how Milan Kundera says the best and the brightest Czechoslovakian society welcomed the Russians. They're excited by the Marxian revolutionary vision, and now they found out, tragically, not too far down the road, that what they believed in was not reality, and that the Marxian revolution they imagined, that vision, was not what Stalin's Russian was about at all. Not to mention, I would argue Marxism has some serious inherent flaws within it, but setting that aside, certainly Stalinism takes a very dark turn, as you guys know, and so it did not take long, Milan Kundera, to mention that the Czechoslovakians realized that this utopian vision that they had held is not all what they got. And on page 268, there's a wonderful quote there. It says, one of Kundera's characters, a historian about to be sent to prison for many years, put it this way: you begin to liquidate a people by taking away its memory. You destroy its books, its culture, its history. And Kundera himself, as relayed by Ricks himself, goes into exile in that time period. So one reason why you guys are in this class and the topic is so important is you guys are a part of that living memory. So you guys follow this class, have a beginning, but a much deeper memory of the 20th century than many of your fellow citizens around you. You can be part of that curiosity to dig deeper into the 20th century, and not because for the sake of the 20th century per se, but because it's so important for us in our democracy in the world today, right? We play a role in that both left and right, as Ricks would say, both on the left and right, probably like to dominate, frankly. Both of them see the other, where America's very split right now, and a lot of the world is too. Frankly, I just asked, a lot of the world is very split. Both sides view the other existentially as a threat, and there's some reality in parts of that, I'd argue. But both sides envision if only they were in charge, things would be good. And there's a wonderful quote by Ricks here on page 269 addressing that, saying about letting facts and truth and evidence be your guiding light and your moral compass, and not allowing majoritarian thought, the majority, the herd mentality, to dominate. And by the way, it's so easy and comfortable, as you guys know, and we read a lot this semester, so easy to fall in line with a bright, shiny object that the majority of the herd is moving toward. Sometimes for some legitimate reasons they're moving toward this thing, but not maintaining an objective moral independence and intellectual independence. And there's a wonderful quote here talking about on 269 in that bottom paragraph. Ricks writes, "For democracies to thrive, the majority must respect the rights of the minority to dissent loudly." And then he goes on to say, "The accurate view almost always will, at first, be a minority position." I think I garbled that, reading that to you. I'll read one more time. "The accurate view almost always will, at first, be a minority position." It's a fabulous quote. As you guys know, Orwell and Churchill too are oftentimes in the minority, but their clarion clear call in their time period and our time period is to see things clearly, to not be befuddled or blinded by aspirations outside us, and also, and certainly Orwell will be very good, and Churchill too, to say even more dangerous is within our own side, the good guys, but not being able to see our own internal weaknesses accurately. It's easier to see the enemies of the weaknesses, and certainly Churchill and Orwell, both of them saw this clearly. Both of them saw fascism as profoundly dangerous to the world, as you guys know well. Churchill also believed communism is a profound danger to the world. Now, Orwell, as you guys know, is mixed. Orwell himself was a socialist, as you guys know. Now, he certainly despised communism as expressed by Stalin, and probably Lenin to some degree, too. So, Orwell, I think, did not like communism. Now, socialism, as you guys know, he saw and identified as a socialist. Maybe in some ways even admired the anarchist. But anyways, I want to make this short. I don't want to get into a long thing here. But I encourage you guys, hope you guys had a good time this semester. The reason I put so many books in all those lectures is not to guilt you guys, and I know you guys can't read all that stuff, but I really encourage you guys, maybe you saw a few books in those lectures I mentioned. Let your muse, let your interest take you down those roads. Some of you guys may be future historians, or maybe some of you aren't, that doesn't matter. But find some of those books, let them take you on a journey. I talked about the Spanish Civil War, even though my lecture was kind of short on details, but I talked about my fascination with the Spanish Civil War, and it took me down all kinds of avenues that were fascinating and open my mind in many ways. In fact, since I've been talking about this, I've gone back to reread Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls, which I read in college, as I mentioned to you guys. I've gone back. And this summer, when I get a little break after grading you guys' papers, I think I'm going to order the book Hotel Florida, about that hotel there in probably Barcelona, I think. Especially where they had Hemingway and all these who's who of Republican correspondents and international correspondents, writers, thinkers, photographers, journalists, who all descended on Barcelona during those hopeful days in the early part of the Republic, and maybe their education there and what that was like as they see the Republic and fight against fascism, and also the internal issues in the Republic itself, as you guys know. Hopefully you guys found something this semester. I found a number of books. I bought a number of books this semester. I really got into Ukrainian history, as you guys know. It's been fascinating and remains important, so we all hope there's a good outcome there. And we're clear-eyed what Putin's after, and also warned to be careful as we make decisions, but to be clear of the stakes involved and not allow majoritarian authoritarian views to dictate our version of reality, but maintain that moral clarity and a moral compass to ask questions, to think independently, to research, look for facts and evidence. And okay, you guys get the idea. I think I promised you guys be quote. I had a good time with you guys. Please continue to pursue your educations. There's so many good, wonderful things out there. Keep digging, keep learning. And maybe I'll see you next time. If you guys are on campus, come by. I'd like to see you in person sometime. So come by my office hours and we can chat some of the fabulous books and maybe some things you guys come across after this class is over. Maybe some books you found in this class as you pursued your own interest in pursuing and understand this human experience a little better, more accurately in our individual participation in it as an active agent. So with that, that's it. Hope you guys are good. Sure enjoyed hanging out with you guys virtually. Hope it's been a good semester for you and wish you guys all the best. Take care, everybody.